Welcome back to Startup Hack. All right, DeepSeek, a little-known Chinese startup, has just released a new reasoning model that's blowing the doors off of OpenAI and sending shockwaves through all of Silicon Valley. Those billion-dollar and almost trillion-dollar valuations, yep, they're definitely being questioned, and NVIDIA lost a massive amount of money yesterday. So let's dive into what's going on so you can get caught up. Welcome back to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason. Here at Startup Hack, we train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, so OpenAI has been grabbing all the headlines with all of their ChatGPT, the models, O1, everything, right? But DeepSeek has quietly been building something even more powerful, and they just gave it away for free over the weekend. Their new R1 model is not only outperforming AI's latest and greatest, but it's doing it at a fraction of the cost. We're talking less than like 1/100th of the cost. So in this video, we're going to dive into what makes DeepSeek's approach so groundbreaking, what the ripple effects is having across the industry, and what it means for the future of AI development. So let's dive into some of these key points here. So one of the very first things is DeepSeek's R1 model introduces a powerful reasoning capability, a major leap beyond just current language models. So this is better than just chat. This can actually take large context, meaning a lot of data, take it, reason across it, and do some reasoning across it. Now, I say some because we're definitely seeing incremental improvements, but this is not like AGI, right? But it represents a paradigm shift in AI from pattern matching to trying to genuinely understand and infer, right? Now, it's achieved this with a novel architectural and training approach that's more efficient and scalable, and it opens up new possibilities for AI to tackle complex content-driven problems. So they're really shattering a lot of long-held myths about OpenAI. Let's dive into this report that we're looking at here on this, because this is going to be, I've got a lot of different reports that we're going to be going through today, right? Release of DeepSeek R1 shatters long-held assumptions about AI, and so according to DeepSeek research paper, the project only took less than 6 million to train, but it performs on par with all the leading models, right? So this is really what's really started to spark this debate, because people are terrified that the fact that this only took under 6 million, because this totally destroys NVIDIA, OpenAI, and Facebook, who have just been schmoozing their investors and the open market for Facebook to believe that going after AI and going after AGI is going to cost billions and almost trillions of dollars, right? And so it's a bold move by DeepSeek, and when they made their R1 model in the first place, but then to release it. And it's a stark contrast to OpenAI's closed model, where you can't ever actually run it locally. One of the big things with DeepSeek is they've released these models, an OLLAMA, an open source repository to be able to run these locally, so you know you can run it locally on your own machine. This has been downloaded, or as of today, over 1.5 million times. So this is really democratizing access to the state of AI, right? And it's really empowering it, right? So it raises a big questions about the sustainability of OpenAI's business model, where they're just burning through money. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a second here. That's the most stunning part about this, right? Zuckerberg said that it cost them over 100 million to train the latest version of Llama, right? And that's not counting everything else. That's just the training cost. So that's not how much development costs, sustaining, supporting, all that. This is just the training costs, right? So the cost advantage comes from DeepSeek's more efficient training techniques and resource management. And this is really where they're really taking advantage and really got the whole rest of the market totally in jitters, right? And it calls into question the sustainability of the bigger is better approach, right? I've been talking against this for a while. So if you don't, if you don't already follow me, make sure you like and subscribe, because I've been talking about this for a while, and now it's interesting to see this come out and really blow the doors off of it. And so it definitely suggests the future of AI innovation can come from unexpected places and doesn't have to be these big guys spending trillions of dollars, right? Now, there is definitely some OpenAI fallout happening here, right? And DeepSeek's emergence poses an existential threat to OpenAI's dominance in the AI language model space. OpenAI has been betting big on the commercial potential of models like ChatGPT 3, but now that it's out, if you can't see this massive, if you can't raise massive, it used to be that if you can't raise massive funds, then they had it said, oh, we couldn't do it, right? But now they're able to do this on a fraction of the budget. And what DeepSeek just did was prove to everybody that they can do this on a fraction of the budget. So this really could be the beginning of AI as a service, that OpenAI pioneered this model, but it really raises the question about whether OpenAI expanded too fast and burned through the cash that it couldn't stay sustainable. And so I've already got some reports that are showing here, but this has definitely been something that I've been talking about here for a long time on the channel. And so OpenAI could go bankrupt within 12 months if it doesn't raise some serious cash. So, but is the Microsoft-backed AI giant too big to fail? Now, the thing about it is Microsoft and them have kind of had a little bit of a parting ways. It's not totally, but Microsoft OpenAI no longer gave Microsoft the first rights of, right? And so they have they're not exclusive anymore. And so OpenAI is hemorrhaging funds as the model training and staffing costs are just really ballooning. It's going out of control, right? And so its training and inference costs could reach as high as $7 billion this year. That's a billion with a B. And yet DeepSeek just did this with like $5 million, $5.6 million, and their numbers match right on par with everything, with the latest released OpenAI o1 mini models, right? So R1, which is also open source, is literally being trained at about 1/100th of the cost of what it costs OpenAI to be able to train their models, right? So there's a bunch of big fallout happening from this, and we're definitely seeing this as NVIDIA has gotten totally hammered today. Now, NVIDIA is not the only one scrambling. Meta reportedly, if I can get all these ads out of the way, Meta reportedly scrambling their war rooms of engineers to figure out how to beat DeepSeek's AI and how they're doing it, right? And so Zuckerberg popped in there and said he assembled 4 war rooms of engineers to respond to potential breakthrough AI development spearheaded by the Chinese. So they are absolutely scrambling. This, like, Zuckerberg's been selling the board to say, man, we need billions and billions and billions of more dollars to be able to train these models. And this is totally game changing because now a little small startup has come and just kicked the crap out of them. So this is definitely something that's got everybody scrambling right now. We've also, one of the other things too, is they're desperately trying to seek to figure out how DeepSeek was able to do this with spending so little. Now, they're not the only ones scrambling here, right? It's definitely sent shockwaves through the industry, right? We talked about Meta and theirs, but they're also, NVIDIA is also seeing its big nightmare because one of the things is that because of the sanctions, which doesn't allow the latest chips to go to China, DeepSeek used an old NVIDIA GPUs, old ones that were being passed around the market. And so it proves that you didn't need all of the latest and greatest hardware. You didn't need $1 trillion worth of NVIDIA GPUs. And so NVIDIA's stock plunged by over 20% in the single day, the worst wipeout in history, erasing $600 billion in value yesterday. Like, I want you to think about that number because that number is as high as some countries' GDP, right? This is a staggering number. And so NVIDIA ticked back up slightly today. As you'll see here, it ticked up just barely back slightly, about 1%, but you saw a 20% drop yesterday. Almost 20%. And so this erased over $600 billion of valuation by NVIDIA, right? And their DeepSeek's energy efficient approach threatens NVIDIA's core business by selling price. NVIDIA wants to sell you these pricey AI chips saying you got to have the latest, got to be sold by hardware. DeepSeek, and that's what I've been trying to tout for a long time, is I've been trying to tout that you can really get at this more innovative. Throwing more hardware, more money, more training costs is not the way to do this. This proves that if more AI developers follow DeepSeek's lead, the demand for NVIDIA's flagship product could crater, and exposes how much of NVIDIA's valuations are based on hype and froth rather than some real fundamental values. And so this is like, I think this is one of the worst wipeouts NVIDIA has ever seen. So I'm sure the executives at NVIDIA are scrambling today. Even as the AI hype reaches its fever, many experienced developers have been sounding the alarm about overconfidence. I've been one of them, right? A recent Stack Overflow survey revealed that less than 3% of developers highly trust AI-generated code. So I found this article really interesting. Knowing less about AI makes people more open to having it in their lives, new research says. So basically, I'm kind of talking about the inverse here, right? People who know more about it actually are using it and trust it less, right? Because we just understand how it works, and us developers know that if you're using AI, you can use it as a great tool, and there's some great use cases for it, but overall, you can't trust it entirely, right? And so we all know that if it's generating code, that code has to be massively checked, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why that is, but this is a huge thing that we're finding. So overall, you're seeing a lot of different panics happening right now, right? And it's interesting to see how this is going to affect the total market over the coming weeks. See if this will stabilize out, see if OpenAI can do something. Will Facebook come back with something that people can trust? But overall, right now, only 40% say they somewhat, or developers say they somewhat trusted code produced by AI. And this means that it's just for boilerplate or testing, right? It's not the mission critical task. So those who have the most AI expertise tend to be the most skeptical about its capabilities and limitations, unless you're Zuckerberg or Sam Altman or one of these guys who are trying to sell it, right? That's the biggest thing is you look at the guys who are saying, oh, AI is going to replace developers. Of course they're saying that. They're trying to get the stock prices to go up, right? So the notion that AI is ready to replace software developers has been a total harsh reality check, right? A tool touted as the first AI software developer failed miserably in a real-world test, scoring only 15%. Let me show you this report here, because I find this really funny, as a lot of people are saying, oh, AI is going to replace developers, right? And so this did just 15% of the tasks. So the service described as the first AI software engineer appears to rather be bad at his job, right? So I don't know about you, but I don't really want a software developer who's only going to do 15% of the job, right? That's terrible. And this highlights the huge gap between AI hype and the actual skill required for software development. AI is definitely useful for niche tasks like boilerplate code or some testing, but it's not going to replace human developers. And it reinforces the fact that human judgment, creativity, and domain expertise are what are most important here, right? And so this gets us even into this next one, right? OpenAI has been pulling the wool over everybody's eyes, and Sam Altman finally admitted that what they're doing is they're actually training their models using sophisticated benchmark problems and solutions, potentially explaining the exemplary performance. So basically, they knew the answers to the test, they fed it to the model, and based on this model, they actually got it to perform well because they already fed it the answers, right? So of course he claims the models were very good and potentially beating performance of the O1 series, right? But now DeepSeek has come out and kicked the crap out of them and even makes these claims even more audacious and this behavior even sillier, right? Now, one of the other things that's really interesting that I thought was kind of interesting about this is that, and I'm definitely putting my tinfoil hat on here, right? But the cybersecurity stocks yesterday surged massively as DeepSeek claims it's under a massive attack. Now, if you're OpenAI, if you're NVIDIA, if you're in Microsoft, you're one of these ones who has staked so much on AI, you really don't think they're going to go after, and you see all these stocks that are in the green and back in the green again today, right? Because they've just picked up some massive contracts. So DeepSeek is trying to restrict its registration of mobile phones with a mainland China area code, saying that it's been subject to a large-scale malicious attack. Now, the word malicious here makes me really think that this is maybe the U.S. government, because maybe they don't want to see China, a Chinese company, be the one to take over the AI market, right? There's a ton of people invested right now to see that that AI succeeds. And so I think that there definitely could be something really nefarious going on here. Now, I want to end today with one last piece here, right? And this is an interesting one because I find this really fascinating, because I think I've been sounding this alarm for a long time, right? But if even 1% of an AI's training data is misinformed, the whole thing becomes compromised, scientists find. It's incredibly easy to catastrophically poison an entire large language model. See, what they're saying is that it's no secret the large language models, like the ones, like ChatGPT, right? Even the most advanced ones still have a nagging tendency to contort the truth and with unnerving degree of confidence, right? So that's the problem here, is that in a detailed paper published in the Journal of Nature Medicine, first spotted by Ars Technica, the team also found that despite being error-prone, corrupted LLMs still perform just as well on open-source benchmark routinely used to evaluate these medical LLMs as their corruption-free counterparts. So that's what's really dangerous about this, is you can throw in one bad answer, and the problem with that is that when you throw in this one bad answer, you can't have these bad answers lurking in there, and it can totally poison the well. And so this becomes really, really tricky as we try to work towards AI and building it into things like healthcare, right? So even as DeepSeek models wins applaud, we need to be careful with this, right? Because we definitely need to raise the alarm to question about the integrity and worthiness of these systems as they become ubiquitous, right? As we start to use them and trust them. I wouldn't trust them. That's the point. They're a great tool, but their results need to be checked. I even use it frequently, and I constantly find errors in it, right? so high of errors that I've still not been able to actually build this into that many apps, and I know how to use AI, right? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I love to have a great conversation. So hit me up here at Startup Hack. You can reach out to me at startuphack.com/Spencer, because we'd love to help out your company to build some custom software solutions, or also help train the next generation of software developers in our licensed coding boot camps. So check us out at startuphack.com or startuphack.com/Spencer, and we'll catch you guys next time.